inside this rubber sleeve is a channel. So he'll have that glued to his face first, and then have the prosthetics put over, so he looks, you know, you can't see any of this tubing here.
Eventually, and quite quickly, through 3 or 4 demonstrations, they hit it, they got it, they got the thing that made us go, yes!
So with the flood design flowing nicely, the production crew test the water to see if they can drown your sitting room in screams.
That gel is amazing.
So the idea is it's going to run. So have your mouth there, so it should just run around your mouth and off.
Okay,
Yeah, without the teeth. So the idea is to see you without the teeth.
Yeah.
So if you're ready, we'll just try and just take it slowly first, because I just want to make sure those tubes are. If you open your mouth slightly. There you go. So I'll just get the pressure right. Do yours as well.
That is absolutely brilliant. That is so
That is grim.
mad. That really looks like it's coming out of her mouth.
That actually works
The
better.
smile,
Better
yeah.
to smile.
When he
Yeah.
smiles, that's the way. Because then it just really drew.
So should we have to do that? That's
Yeah, that's the one.
That's
I think
the
he's gasping. I hope he's got the gasping.
When they walked out of the makeup trailer and I saw the effect of the water coming out of their mouth, I was just like, that's it. It's absolutely brilliant.
And actually, in the end, it's still as creepy, still frightening. I hope the audience, I hope they get frightened but enjoy the fear. The programme is about shadows and monsters and darkness. It's not about violence and blood, it never has been. So there are very clear, instinctive guidelines to follow. Within that, I think you want to set out to be as scary as possible. It's like when there are monsters chasing people down corridors and things like that. Oh yeah, we want to scare people, we want to scare adults, we want to scare children, because there's nothing better than a good healthy scare.
I think we got the balance right. Although I do think it probably is one of the scariest Doctor Who monsters yet.
When I first saw Andy, I was absolutely. Am I allowed to say bricking it?
I just kept wondering where they cast all these people that look like that from.
The transformation was just unbelievable.
Unbelievably scary.
You must be Andy. No.
There's something wrong about that water pouring constantly. You can see the person in the flood. I like those creatures that they touch a lot of buttons, and great performances as well that make it really scary.
The problems that you face when you introduce water into a set is that straight away you've got electricity and water not wanting to mix. So everything has to be 12 volt, all the lights, all the monitors, all the buttons, etc. all have to be earthed so that no one dies.
Water and electricity, bad mix. Also quite difficult to film with. There's a practical difficulty. I know that we've had a couple of sort of water-based ideas that we've never quite seen through before.
Anything else about that first water effect?
Well, it's worth saying with all this water that you know, obviously equipment and, you know, electrical stuff, it's, you know, it's all got to be treated as though we were, you know, out on location, outside. Same precautions, really. The 2 trucks behind us are going to be pumping the water onto the set. One of them holds 10,000 litres, the other one about 5,000. That's going to be pumped via fire hose into the set, and we've also chlorinated it, just for bacterial and viral hazards.
And action! Water! We've got water!
Everyone, we're abandoning this section.
I'm quite amazed with this sort of level of control that we've seen, well, the technical department seems to have over the water so far. Because literally it comes down the flames, so you have sort of waterfalls.
Okay, here we go, and action!
I'm sick!
Yuri,
I'm
this
tired!
time
Look!
that
I can
everyone,
leave!
Section B is out. Listen to me. Take every pack you can. We'll go around. We'll make our way out through Section F.
It's great casting on this episode. All of that supporting cast are so vivid and strong because it's hard. It's you've got a bunch of people. You've got to introduce them all. The audience has got to get to know them, and then they all start dying.
Water now pouring in through the tiles.
Get back!
Water pouring down the glass.
Stephanie, we'll open the access panel. We'll get you out through the back. Captain, it's inside.
They're all just very vivid, very strong people who, in a couple of lines, paint to that person is.
Hello, Missy. Hello, Mars. Rita, that's hello.
So that by the end, you really, when Steffi's getting soaked and turned into one of the flood, when it happens to Roman, you really feel for them.
Water pouring over Steffi, she starts to shudder and convulse.
Steffi! Steffi!
It's that disaster movie sort of feel. It's also very Doctor Who format feel of like, here's the cast, now watch them die.
I think you enjoyed saying that.
We're setting up an episode that is don't touch the water. Within all of this, all of those considerations, it has to be believable that those actors don't get wet other than at the times they need to.
So it's always going to be a challenge just how you stage it.
If they're there, she's got to run over here, sheet of water's got to come there. Are they going to get soaked? Yeah. They're standing next to a sheet of water there. They're dead.
See, are allowed to the distance of water splash. Yeah, so hold on, I'm going to get the oxygen membrane. Whoosh. Oh my god, am I not? No, I'm trapped. Backing into wherever the video will go. Okay? Can't put water too close to people like that.
Yeah, okay.
You've got to lens it up and give it distance, otherwise I simply will be sitting at home going, well, they're wet. They're dead, that's splashed. And it will splash on the deck. Right, keep everyone out a minute, please.
What we've got to do, obviously, is follow the guys around with a water pump. So we've got these kind of pumps that you can just strap over your shoulder, and it's just pressurised.
We couldn't use warm water. There was no way we could mix warm water and have that continuously warm going through the mouth and body and keeping them warm, as it were.
In order for it to be safe to be touching my mouth and swallowed, it has to be a certain temperature, so it's really cold. So it's fine when it's coming out of here, but as it goes up your back, it's pretty cold.
It was in winter. We were shooting this in January or February. It was very cold in the locations we were working in.
Obviously, we needed to keep the actors, sort of warm and as dry as possible underneath their costumes.
I have a butcher's hot water bottle, fleece blanket. I've got gel on here to make it look like I'm drenched. It's quite cold, so I am cold. I've got 3 pairs of socks, one of them waterproof. I'm soaked through to the bottom of my Dr. Martens, but still, it's uncomfortable, believe it or not. It's just a little bit cold at the moment. My hair is soaking as well.
We were in this unheated warehouse, and we walked into the corridor, and they were like, okay, the water's really cold, and there's a lot of it, so we're sorry.
It's not like that wonderful feeling of warm water streaming down your face when you're in the shower and you're singing along. It's quite different from that.
Though soaking wet, these monsters are hardly drips when it comes to chasing down the Doctor. To create this fluid movement, they call upon choreographer and emergency sprint coach Ailsa Burke.
Ailsa Burke does all the choreography on Doctor Who whenever it's required, which is most episodes, most stories. And in this story, it was necessary for her to absolutely choreograph the coordination of the 2 or 3 people that ever have to run as zombies.
That's it. Up. That's it. Heads on. Arms up. That's it. Perfect. With the running, we wanted it to look like the, 100-metre sprinter, really, with the arms driving, pumping, the energy, the dynamic, and we wanted them to be in sync. So the only way that we could really get around that was to give a nice, easy count in, and then to keep on all the way through 1, 2, 1, 2. So it was always right, left, right, left.
Supposedly, we were moving at a very, very fast speed and running an almost mechanical way, I would say.
What I wanted was kind of Terminator 2 style of running.
Go, baby, go, baby, go. Now don't you dare.